Welcome to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shannon Register, and every week we bring you news and information you can use on real estate. And today is a fun Sunday. It's a wild card Sunday. I've wanted to have one of those for a while. So wild card Sunday means we've got a lot of our sponsors on. So we don't have a big theme like we usually have. We're talking about a lot of different things. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And backed by popular demand, we are talking about open houses. So I got emails and phone calls and texts from you guys saying, we didn't really get your opinion of open houses. We heard your agent's opinion, but you didn't really tell us your opinion. You talked a lot about security and stuff like that. So I'm going to give my opinion on open houses as well. I'm going to start by telling you my opinion on open houses, and then I'm going to get a few more realtors from Register Real Estate Advisors to weigh in. You know, I really wanted to give them an opportunity to talk to you about open houses and not just have it all about my opinion. But since you asked, I think open houses are great for stimulating the economy. I think that's a wonderful thing to have in the community. I think it's great when builders do them in their models, as well as, realtors hold them in your communities. There are a lot of people who benefit from open houses, so I'm just going to kind of go down the list. I'm going to start with the seller. So the seller benefits from the open houses because it gives the listing exposure. But if the seller doesn't want you to do an open house, maybe they fear something getting stolen out of the house, or maybe they fear their hardwood floors will get scratched. Whatever reason, if a seller doesn't want to do an open house, then we don't do an open house. I mean, that's pretty simple. But if a seller is open to doing an open house, I think it can be a great thing, but it depends on two things, which I know you heard last weekend or a few weekends ago when we did our whole show on open houses. It depends on the location of the home, how easy it is for buyers to get to it. And it also depends on how it's marketed. If you don't market it right, you're not going to have any benefit from it. So the marketing is huge. But I will say this also: when you have, we set clients on what we call a client gateway through HRER.com, and that gives them new MLS listings that come up. So if you're in the Houston market and you're a buyer, you've seen your realtor do this. When there's an open house, that listing is refreshed in front of them again, showing them the open house. So that is another advantage for a seller when you do an open house. It's just like when you drop the price, if it's in that person's, if it's their criteria to look at that house and they've already seen it, then you drop the price, it puts it back in front of them. So it kind of refreshes the listing. I think it's good in that regard as well. I have actually sold a house to a buyer when I was doing an open house. It does not happen often, but it does happen. And so, every time you do an open house, there's a chance it could happen. So, talked about seller's perspective. Now I want to talk about the realtor perspective. From a realtor perspective, I think that doing open houses is great. It's a great way for the realtor to pick up clients. So for new agents, it's a wonderful thing. I've sold my listings through open houses, and then that caused a buy-side transaction. That also caused a sell side for the buyer who needed to sell their property, and then it caused a buy-side for the person I was selling the home for. So that's 4 transactions off of one open house. So if you can do it effectively and get a sale off of it, that's a pretty awesome thing. What else did I want to tell you about? Buyers. Okay, for buyers it's great when buyers, especially out-of-town buyers, who are in for the weekend. Let's say they're in, and all day Friday they're with their realtor looking at house after house after house, and they're running across, just running from one house to the next because they want to see, 8 listings in a day. It's nice for them to be able to go back on Saturday or Sunday without their realtor and just, spend more time relaxed in the house, to just look at it as a couple instead of with the realtor, because the realtor's usually, talking about things, and they're usually asking questions, and so sometimes they just want to go back and see it again. So I think it's great for buyers. Buyers who are in town obviously can go to as many open houses as they want, but buyers who are out of town, sometimes they're in a rush to get through those houses, and so sometimes it's nice to have another open house. Plus, if your realtor is busy, you can always go to an open house. Just let the realtor there know, that you're working with another realtor, and you just want to see the house and go in and see it. For buyers, sometimes I think when I do open houses, buyers, they want to avoid you. They just want to avoid you. They don't want to talk to you. They just want to go and see the house. And so, I recommend that if you're working with a realtor and you walk into the open house, just tell them. Just let the realtor know, hey, I'm working with another realtor, but I'd really like to look at the open house. Great. They're going to invite you in and let you, go through the house and look at it. So, you don't have to avoid them and, tell them, no, I'm not sharing my name with you. And, because some buyers are just fanatical about that. They act like we're used car salesmen. But if you'll just tell them, hey, I'm working with another realtor, I just want to take a look at the house, they'll let you do that. You don't have to fill out any paperwork or do anything. Obviously, if you're interested in the house or in purchasing a home, if you give the realtor your name and stuff, they can follow up with you during the week when they're not so busy at the open house. A lot of realtors have several people going through the open house at once, and they can't tell you all the things they want to tell you about the house. Like maybe there's going to be a price change, or maybe there are things the seller's leaving that you wouldn't know otherwise. So, leave your contact information, and that realtor can follow up with you and give you more detailed information that you're not going to find on the MLS. Usually the realtor there is the listing agent, and they know that house. They know it very well. So for the neighbors, I think it's a great thing for two reasons. One, the neighbors get to see what their neighbor's house is selling for. They get to see what upgrades are in it and kind of compare their house. They can kind of in their mind get a general idea of what they could sell their house for, which sometimes helps them to make the decision, oh, I'm 10 years from selling my house, or you know what, I didn't think I want to sell, but now I might be interested. So it's good for the neighbors. It's also good in the respect that a lot of times your neighbors, not a lot of times, but sometimes your neighbors know somebody who's interested in moving to that neighborhood. They work with someone who's made the comment they'd like to move to that neighborhood, or they have a relative who'd like to live closer to them. So if you can, as realtors, if we go around and knock on the neighbors' doors or send them a mail piece and tell them about them, sometimes they will come to the open houses and they can actually help you find someone for the open house. So open houses can be a win-win for everybody. Everybody. They're good on so many fronts. My biggest thing as a broker of a company, my biggest thing is the safety of my realtors and the safety of the property that they're holding open, which are our clients. So the safety is a huge issue for me as a broker. If I could mandate it, I would make all my realtors do an open house with someone there with them. But they're independent contractors, and you can't make them do that. But obviously that's the safest thing to do, but that's not always ideal. Some of them do food, some of them don't. I don't think it matters. They all have different personalities. They're going to do what they do, and they're going to do it well. If they're my realtors, they're going to do it well. But they may not do food. They may do food, whatever. They all have different personalities, and they all sell differently, and they all market differently. And I think that's great. Just don't use, a person who is not going to do a good job for you. Check them out. See what they've done before for people. If it's a realtor who doesn't want to do an open house for you, ask them why. Find out why. Is it reasonable why they don't want to? Or if they are going to, how are they going to market it? What are they going to do for you? I actually saw an open house the other day where they left a note and said, the last person out, at 3 o'clock, lock the door. That's not good. That's not good at all. You want to have a realtor that you trust, who's going to safeguard your home and represent you well. So I think that's important. I think that's about all I had to say on open houses. There's just so much to say about open houses, but I think the main thing, of course, for me as a broker is the safety and security of your home, your possessions, and your agent. And then it's the agent's job to make sure that the open house is put out there and marketed, because it's their job to make sure that the house sells. So I've got a few more realtors who are going to weigh in on open houses. We had a lot of fun with that, so I had a few more that wanted to weigh in. If you'd like, and the video of this segment is full of houses that we have listed. So if you're watching the video and you like any of the homes, or if you want to go see the video, go to HoustonRealEstateRadio.com and see the homes that we have listed. And if you like any of them, call the brokerage, RREA.com, phone number's there. Call the brokerage and set up a private showing. We do have agents out doing open houses today. So here's Carl Hall coming up next, and he's going to talk to us a little bit about open houses. We also have Rebecca Privet weighing in, and a few others. Carl Hall is a realtor with REA, and he works the Tomball market. So he's an agent over in the Tomball market. Here's Carl.
Imagine you and your family return from a tropical vacation to find that one of your pipes burst, flooding your entire house. Are you fully covered? Will you only receive $100 for your TV that cost you $2,000 just 2 years ago? Will your insurance company pay for you to live in a hotel while your home is being repaired? What if on that same trip you lose your wedding ring? Will your home insurance coverage replace that as well? All insurance policies are not created equal. If you don't know the answer to these questions, you're not alone. Most people don't understand the gaps in their coverage until it's too late. Call Goosehead Insurance today and let one of our agents review your current policy to ensure that you are fully covered. At Goosehead Insurance, we understand the power of choice. Instead of working for a single insurance company, our agents have access to over 20 A-rated carriers. This allows us to craft a policy to fit your particular lifestyle, budget, and needs. It also enables us to reshop your policy in the future, if necessary, saving you time and money. No need to look for another agent. At Goosehead, we've got you covered. Our agents will walk you through each policy decision so that you have the coverage you need. If that's not reason enough, talk to one of our happy clients. Our client satisfaction scores are 3 times the industry average. To experience the Goosehead Insurance difference, visit us online at goosehead.com or call us at 800-474-1377.